here, boys. NFL playoffs, and it's time to figure out who is winning the Super Bowl. First, we got our awards predictions. Thank goodness we finally got our esteemed guest, Tommy, back here to give his expert analysis once again. We'll lead it off with our awards predictions, then we'll get right into our expert NFL playoff preview.
You know what? I say we let the guests go first.
All right, so first up, we gotta go big, gotta go home. We're going MVP, and I feel like this one's pretty obvious. It was kind of a two-man race, maybe three-man race if you want to include Josh Allen, but the other guy got hurt, so it's got to be Patrick Mahomes. Sorry, I honestly feel like if it wasn't so QB heavy, it should be Justin Jefferson, but it's Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah, as Tommy said, most of these MVP races are between the QBs, and then the Offensive Player of the Year is for maybe a quarterback, mostly other skill positions, but obviously I got to stay with my boy Patrick Mahomes. Had a great season. Maybe followed by a close Josh Allen, Jalen Hurts, but that's what I got for MVP. You, Sam?
Yep. To echo these other guys, I would love to see a non-quarterback win it. But when you think about just who's the most valuable player in the NFL this year, it was clearly Patrick Mahomes. He didn't fall off without Tyreek Hill. He deserves the MVP.
Perfect.
Offensive Player of the Year, of course. And as I was saying before, I think it was pretty obvious with my pick now that I got to go Justin Jefferson because I thought he should be in the MVP race. And I think, honestly, he's like the fourth best odds. But, that's not going to be winning the award. But he's the obvious Offensive Player of the Year. He carried that Vikings offense pretty much. That's all I got to say.
You gonna take that? I mean, Kirk Cousins, the supplier of the ball,
He supplies Justin Jefferson's ball.
That's true.
He does his job very well. I think Kirk is underrated. But for Offensive Player of the Year, I think it's unquestioned.
No. Oh, no. No.
Excellent gritty, of course, 10 out of 10. I would always rate that. I tried to do it extra saucy for you here today. Jefferson, OPOY.
All right, fair warning, guys. I have not looked at any Vegas odds or anything, but I think on this one, I will have to agree with the Justin Jefferson pick. I hate to be agreeable here, but, to be honest, Justin Jefferson's had a great year. He keeps improving as a wide receiver. It's hard to pick against him this year, so I got Justin Jefferson.
All right, now Defensive Player of the Year. I feel like there's multiple different options you can go with, but my main guy's got to be Nick Bosa. He really had an electric season. That 49ers defense is incredible, and he's leading the charge.
Very interesting takes out here from Max. Not from Max. Gosh, I'm not here with Tommy enough.
We're rivals. Look,
I just
Charger.
forget what Tommy is doing out here. I just got to reorient myself to say Tommy. I hate to agree sometimes, but to be honest, I didn't look at the DPOY odds. But when I think of just who's going to be most disruptive on defense, I just say it has to be a pass rusher. I think the best pass rusher this year was Nick Bosa. I'll disagree on the next two perhaps, but not for this one. I'm still going Nick Bosa.
Man. If I knew who the tackle leader this year was, I would definitely choose differently, but I have no idea who that is.
Foyesade Oluokun led the league in tackles.
Oluokun? Okay. Jaguar. I don't know if I can pick a Jaguar.
I don't think you should pick the tackle leader as your Defensive Player of the Year.
Yeah. My dad had Oluokun on his fantasy team. I don't think he performed well enough, even with the high amount of tackles Tommy says he has. Man, I don't want to pick Nick Bosa. I gotta go with Nick Bosa. Definitely leading pass rusher. We keep stealing Tommy's answers, but it's hard to disagree on that pick.
I was kind of surprised no Micah Parsons loved. He was
I
not.
thought about that.
He was not named
but-
AP All-Pro, I think.
Yeah.
Or maybe he got that.
No,
There was some list that came out and he was not on it.
He got the Pro Bowl, didn't get the All-Pro.
All right. Anyway, we'll move swiftly on to Offensive Rookie of the Year, and there's some options here. It should have been Breece Hall, but sadly he got hurt.
Yeah.
But I'm actually not going to go with this teammate, even though I think it's very close. I'm going to go Chris Olave. I think he was very vital to that Saints offense, and there was nothing without him. Because Kamara had an up and down season, but Chris Olave was there to stay. It's a main staple, not wide receiver one for them.
Interesting. My preseason prediction looked something like George Pickens, but unfortunately, he just didn't. He had a very good year, but it wasn't quite good enough. And you know who I'm actually going to be picking? A little of a surprise. This team's nowhere on this board right here. Did not play, I believe, the last 3 or so weeks. I'm taking Dameon Pierce right now. I think all the wide
Ooh.
receivers were just kind of fine. So the voters aren't going to be able to say, like, who's the best almost. But Dameon Pierce was clearly the best rookie running back this year. They're giving it. Did not
Clearly
win
the
Dameon.
best rookie running back.
Well, who played most?
Okay.
He's not wrong.
Okay. One thing I will say: the disrespect to K9 Kenneth Walker is crazy.
That's
He's a system running back.
Okay.
okay.
Okay, Kenneth Walker did also not start for like the first 7 weeks of the year. So once again, his stats are a little off.
Tyler Algier also very good running back.
That's-
Tyler Algier,
oh my-
1,000 yards.
Very underrated.
Yes.
actually.
Okay. So this is who I'm between. I got 3 players in mind. They've all been cleared from the board because these guys keep talking over me. But they were Tyler Algier, Garrett Wilson, and Kenneth Walker. I think. Who'd you say?
Said Chris Olave.
I don't think Chris Olave will win it. I haven't looked at the odds. He's had a decent season. But I just don't think it's enough. Tommy or
I don't
Sam
know.
saying
I'll
that.
say one thing. I don't think
Okay.
he's gonna win it, but I think he deserves a little more recognition.
I mean, he definitely deserves to be in the race, 100%. Garrett Wilson. I mean, he was really. I mean, he had some really good weeks.
Led rookies in Yak.
Mhm.
Did he actually?
He struggled with his quarterback situation.
Yeah.
But he still did
He's
really
got
well.
Bummy QB situation.
I think he might have the best future out of any of these rookies.
Oh, 100%. That's why he was the first receiver taken. Actually, no, that was Drake London.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to eliminate Tyler Algier just based on the fact that I don't think a lot of people will know him. Plus, I think Cordero Patterson did take a good chunk of the reps. So that leaves me with a wide receiver and a running back. And as you said, Kenneth Walker was out for the first 7-ish weeks. I'm going to have to go with Garrett Wilson. That's my OPOY. Or ROI.
Interesting. I think it's a good pick. Solid pick.
Very solid pick.
I think Kenneth Walker, Garrett Wilson, and Chris Olave will be the pick. Sadly, Dameon Pierce was hurt. He was very
I think
good.
he was on track for it, but the last few weeks probably derailed him. Kind of like I think Jalen Hurts was on track for MVP, but he got derailed. I think Dameon Pierce could still sneak in because none of the guys had like excellent last 3 weeks to lead their team to the
Yeah,
playoffs.
You're
but
right.
We'll see. Well, versus Mahomes did have an excellent last few weeks to make people say Jalen Hurts. Not quite it.
And before you go, I just want to say, I think we'll all agree on the defensive rookie.
Yes, maybe. I
Maybe not.
think, I mean, there's really 3 players that are getting talked about. Aiden Hutchinson and the 2 best corners in the class, Tariq Woolen, Sauce Gardner.
Yeah, I was only thinking Sauce, but maybe
My pick is Sauce, but Tariq has arguably been better.
I haven't paid attention to him that much, so maybe I could be wrong, but I've just been seeing Sauce's numbers, so I'll have to pick him as
Tariq
well.
has 6 interceptions.
Oh.
He has about the same yards allowed. I think Sauce has been a bit better in coverage, but Tariq's ball skills have really put him in the next level.
Okay, I will be choosing Sauce. I have not much to say about that. I just think he's a great, coverage corner.
Tommy
All-Pro.
had exactly what my analysis was
As
going
a
to be.
rookie, yeah.
I think Woolen might have been very slightly better, but these awards are a little bit of a popularity contest, a little bit of a marketing contest. I've been seeing Sauce all over social media, wearing that Packers cheese head, bragging so much. There's no way he doesn't get it. It's Sauce.
Also, you can look at the AP All-Pro. He made it as a rookie. That's incredible.
That
As
is,
It is indeed.
Tariq Woolen was probably close on that list, I'd guess, because
Yeah.
he was also very good, but he did not make it. So I think that kind of.
by what you're saying, he could have deserved All-Pro there, but, All-Pro as a rookie, that's ridiculous.
All right, I'll quickly swing into comeback player of the year, and I don't know. As you know, I'm a Chargers fan, but I do kind of have an NFC team. It's the Giants, and I'm gonna go with Saquon Barkley, who had an electric season carrying that offense. Daniel Jones was better than thought of, but it was really the Saquon show.
Oh, am I up next?
You jumped over me on the last one.
That's
so
true.
now-
I
do
just
you want
wanna
to go
say-
before?
I can go. For me, it's down to
It's the
2 players. Of course, Saquon Barkley and Geno Smith. I think those 2 players.
McCaffrey.
Oh, that's true.
There's a lot of players in this race. You gotta think about.
There really are a lot.
You know what? I'm gonna split the votes this year. I don't think Gino. I think Gino might not win this one because of the popularity contest on this one. But I think leading that franchise from where they were at, like just losing Russell Wilson, who was their quarterback, that's who they made the whole playbook behind, and switching it up. Everyone said that it was going to be a complete change. It was going to be a bad result, but no. Gino proved everyone wrong. Took over the spot over Drew Lock. I gotta go with Gino.
I just got one thing to say.
They roll me off, but I ain't right back though.
Geno Smith. It's incredible. I've had enough of the guys who just are injured for a year and then they get comeback player of the year. Geno Smith was a backup for 5 years. They wrote him off. No one cared about Geno Smith. Ever since he got sucker punched in the locker room, his jaw was broken. He came back from so much adversity there. His locker room was against him. And suddenly, he moved to Seattle. He revitalized his career. It's incredible. He's the comeback player of the year.
You know, I agree with that pick. I think, even though you kind of said it was a popularity contest, I feel like I've seen Geno everywhere this year.
Mm-hmm.
Back up to arguably top 10 QB is great story. So I think he will win it for that reason. But I think Christian McCaffrey and Saquon, obviously the classic injury to great player again. But
Yes.
I think they had great seasons. And I'm kind of, like I said, a little bit of a Giants fan, just like a little bit, mainly a Chargers guy, but love to see my boy Saquon.
Okay, and I would like to say, apologize for all like the audio differences I'm doing for you right here with some of my shouting, but it happens. And I would say comeback player of the year is always traditionally someone who gets injured. So Geno's odds might be stacked against him a little bit, but I believe in him.
I think Geno will win it though. Kind of a similar Ryan Tannehill situation. Kind of got wrote off.
You're so
Like,
And by the way, making a prediction right now, next year's comeback player of the year, DeMar Hamlin.
Really? You think so?
I think so.
Ooh, I
I
like
think
the
even if he
early.
just gets on the practice squad, they're gonna give him the
I
award.
like the early pick.
Yeah.
You know, we've talked about it. If I'm gonna make a prediction for next year, you know, he's not a quarterback, but I was gonna have to say Brees Hall. Even as a rookie, I mean, he was already making a difference on the Jets team. I think that will be my.
Hear me out. I don't know if they consider this comeback, but Calvin Ridley,
Oh,
I think
yes,
he's going to
yes,
explode
yes.
next year.
That's such a good.
He's going to
pick.
the Jags.
He's going to the
Which is
Jags. They're going to
crazy.
be crazy.
They're
I
gonna
think
be
I
good
think he
next
said in
year.
tweet. He said, "Imagine if I was there." I think.
Mhm.
Which I mean, if they were there, I think this was getting a little bit, but I think that they'd arguably have a more talented roster than the Chargers.
Of course,
But
Oh,
we'll get to that.
the Chargers.
We'll see.
They're
Anyway,
pretty stacked.
Coach of the Year. I think there's a few candidates.
there are a
Obviously,
lot of good candidates.
Nick
this year.
Sirianni, Brian Dable,
Mm.
Vikings coach. I don't remember
Kevin
his name.
O'Connell.
Kevin O'Connell. He was
He kind of low-key looks like Tommy. Not gonna lie.
Pete Carroll. I think. Obviously, people are gonna say Geno was great, but
What about McDaniel?
McDaniel also very good. But he did kind of stink it up the last 5 games.
Yes, he
all
did.
those. But my
Two
pick,
of them.
like I said, a little bit of a Giants fan. I think Brian Dable came in and took a very poorly talented roster and made them a playoff contender. And not even just a playoff contender, a playoff team.
I wanted to be different from Tommy here. I remember last year when Sam was. This was one call that Sam was really right on, and that was the fact that Brian Dable was the number one coach into the market. I have been totally impressed with his transformation from the Bills. I mean, he was a great coach at the Bills, but just to become a head coach and be that successful in the first season, yes, they get Saquon back. But, man, I don't want to agree, but I have to. Brian Dable is going to be the coach of the year. I mean, first year. Was it first year as a head coach?
Yep.
First year, I mean, that's just impressive. Brought a team to the playoffs.
Oh, I totally forgot about someone. Sorry, before I interrupt. Dan Campbell, honestly, would be my Dan Campbell would be my number 2. I completely forgot about him. I mean, bringing a team that was like 1-6, I think, or 1-7, and
1-6.
going 9 and going like 7-1, or like 8-1, or 8-2.
7-2.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Incredible.
Sadly, they didn't make the playoffs. Seahawks made it. I think those two teams were like everyone's kind of rooting for them to make the playoffs, but there's only a spot for one.
Yeah. You know, I'm disagreeing here.
I like that.
I've loved the job that Kevin O'Connell has done this year with the Vikings. Winning so many close games, you've got to credit that to some coaching. They practice all the situations, everything that needs to be done right in the moment. Unfortunately, that defense is awful. we're bottom 5. I took a look at our stats. Our defense is about bottom 5 in every category you can look at. Our offense is like between 5 and 10 in about every category you can look at. But our defense is just way too bad to give him Coach of the Year. I'm giving it to my preseason prediction, Nick Sirianni right here. I think the Eagles have just been so consistent and so good. The only thing that does hurt them is that they couldn't win with Gardner Minshew. It makes it kind of seem a little more like, he's Jalen Hurts dependent. The system only works with Jalen Hurts. But they look still really good in those games. The defense has been great. The offense has been great. They've just been a very well-run football team. I think Sirianni deserves the award.
I think that's who. I'm gonna be honest. I think that's who's gonna win.
It's a good pick.
When you start your season, however undefeated,
Yeah.
it's incredible to see. And obviously, Jalen Hurts goes down. I thought they'd still played really well.
They did.
I do have a question really quick. I just want to shout out, who's the Detroit's coach?
Dan Campbell.
What?
Oh, wait, what?
Dan
Matt,
Campbell.
I thought he was the...
That's what I was talking about, the Lions.
Oh,
Max
no.
Ability.
I deserve to be flamed now. I
Max
thought he was on the...
Ability.
Oh, I'm an idiot. I thought he was still with Atlanta.
Atlanta?
Max.
I don't even... Arthur Smith?
Arthur
Is he even coaching there anymore?
Smith's still there. And Dan Campbell was with the Saints before he went to the Lions to be their head coach.
I haven't been paying attention to the coaches that much, I'm gonna be honest.
Max.
I
What
deserve...
happened? How you not know who Dan Campbell is?
I know who Dan Campbell is. I just didn't know he was the coach for the Lions. I thought it was the Patriots defensive coach from Tom Brady
Mike
years.
McDaniel?
Matt
No, not-
Patricia.
Matt Patricia. Yeah.
He's the offensive coordinator.
He is now.
Who's the guy who went to the Raiders?
Oh,
Josh McDaniels.
Josh McDaniels.
I'm an idiot.
He was awful this year.
Yeah, I deserve that. I deserve.
He
to
still
be.
has a job though.
Yeah.
Blame it on Derek
It's
Carr.
not me. I thought it was Matt Patricia. All right. Well, guys, we are now on to the playoffs. We will start on the AFC side, and then we'll transfer to the NFC side, and we'll kind of just go like how TV does it, game by game by game. And you will see us in all of our predictions. So, first, we're going to start off traditional. Sam,
I go first.
oh,
Yeah.
we'll go over here.
Max. Okay. Great game right here. Honestly, there's a reason they put this Saturday in prime time. I think this is going to be a very close game between two electric young quarterbacks. Got Trevor Lawrence, got Justin Herbert. They have been hurt by the fact, of course, that Mike Williams is going to be out. I think it makes a huge difference with their offense, whether they can truly spread it out that much. For all their great weapons, they kind of struggled a little bit on offense. You think on paper, Justin Herbert, he's had a good year. Keenan Allen, Mike Williams, when they've been on the field, they've had a good year. Austin Eckler, I think he leads the league in touchdowns with that.
And even receptions.
Yeah. Maybe it's combined like rushing and receiving touchdowns.
Yeah,
I think Jamal Williams led in rushing.
19 total.
Yeah, 19 total. But the Jags have come on a tear here. The only thing I do have to say is that the last 2 weeks, I was not really impressed by the Jaguars. They're not often on TV much, but I watched all that Titans game. The Titans aren't very good, and the Jags just looked fine. I think when it comes to the playoffs, both these teams, quarterbacks making their debut, I think the Jags just haven't shown enough for me to say that they're going to win this game. They are at home, but the Chargers just have so much talent. Offensive, defensive side of the ball. They've underachieved. I think Brandon Staley could low-key have a hot seat right now. But he's going to win this game, and I think he's going to keep his job for right now. I'm going Chargers right here. Give me that purple marker. And we are marking our picks
Put it more
by
on
the color.
Put it on the bottom side of the bracket. More on the bottom side.
I think that's fine.
We can
because
stack
I'm
it.
going
Then
for
I
here.
could put here and then you could
Yeah.
be here, Max. Either way works.
I thought we'd do it there better.
Alright. I mean, I guess that works.
You want me to go now?
This is your team. You go.
This is my team. Okay. So I think Sam had a lot of good points. Like you said, coming in, I think we had a maybe top 10 receiving duo. Not core though, but did other weapons like Palmer. He stepped up. Carter, he was pretty decent. We had like 5 players with 500 plus yards.
Everett's
receiving.
pretty solid too.
Everett was pretty good. He's not great though.
Yeah.
But one thing that has been looked really nice was our defense has been, I think, the best in points allowed in the last 5 weeks, or maybe even 7.
Mhm.
About like 12 points per game. And like you said about the Titans game, they didn't look great, and the Titans team is not good.
Chargers didn't look that great against the Broncos either, but
Yes,
who knows how much they were trying though in that game.
Yeah. Also, sad Mike Williams injury. We were 4-0 when Keenan Allen and Mike Williams played this year, so that's really nice to see. But I can't bet against my own team, at least for this game, because I think this is a very winnable game. I'm gonna go big. Actually, I'm going with the good old San Diego Chargers.
I have a question really quick. Where was that Jaguars Titans game? Because I was watching it. I can't. Was it in Jacksonville?
It was in Jacksonville.
That's what I was thinking.
It was a little cold in Jacksonville though.
All right,
This one,
guys, this got to be my toughest game. We're looking at all these wild card matchups. This one is the one that I'm most excited to see. I'm surprised we haven't talked about it yet, but earlier in the week, I mean, we talked about it earlier, but earlier in the season, the Jacksonville Jaguars in Los Angeles completely destroyed the Chargers. Now, that was a long time ago, and both teams, I mean, the Jaguars have been looking good lately. Even with that Titans game, it did not look good. It came down to the wire. The Chargers, they've been a little so-so lately, you know. It just, a lot of injuries been happening. The chemistry hasn't seemed to been there. Before these two picked the Chargers, I was going to pick the Chargers. But you know what? I want to be controversial. And here's the reason. I would love to see a Chargers-Kansas City game, but at home, Trevor Lawrence wants to prove something. He's always been good in the playoffs, even in college. Travis Etienne's looks solid.
one thing, he's never lost on a Saturday. Never. In his career.
Trevor Lawrence?
Never lost on a Saturday.
That's crazy.
That's interesting.
But in reality, if I was betting on this game, I would choose the Chargers. But I think that the Jaguars just have that clutch streak in them right now. What's this? Someone else say it for me.
Duval.
And that's my pick. I'm going to pick Jacksonville. It won't be as good as a game as the Chargers-Chiefs would be, but I've got Jacksonville because they're at home and the streak winning that game.
I can't really say that's a hot take, really. I mean, I guess they're the underdog, but I think it's very reasonable to see that.
All right.
Boys, the intense AFC North matchup right here. The AFC North is low-key like the gritty division. It's like so
It's
cool.
the ghetto division.
Yeah.
That's why George
It's the
Pickens
ghetto
went there.
division. It's so dark and cool. Like all the teams are always like solid for the past few years. The Browns have, been all right for like the past 4 years. They've all been good. And these two teams have been the class of the division for the last about 4 years here. It's been the last 3, we'll say. The Bengals have turned it around. I don't know what I'm saying. But the Bengals and the Ravens have both been great. If they had Lamar Jackson, I think I would take the Ravens. But unfortunately, Tyler Huntley just can't bring the same energy to the Ravens. Maybe if he had, some great receivers to throw to, sure. But he's throwing to Devin Duvernay and James Prochet as his 1-2. Mark Andrews is a great tight end. They can run the football. But unfortunately, they just don't have the firepower to keep up with Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, Tyler Boyd, T. Higgins, Joe Mixon. Like, when you just look at the teams. Plus, I have to say, Joe Burrow is just him in the playoffs. He's just been him almost in clutch situations lately. Ever since LSU in the national championship game. That's why I'm going with the white Bengal helmet right here.
Ooh.
The little sneak. Show them the Bengals. Give me them moving on.
I like that logo. That's nice.
I'll slide in for my pick now. Sam, like he said, made some very good points like he did before. That's why I'm also going to agree with this pick. I won't take much time. Ravens without Lamar aren't really anything in that offense. Tyler Huntley might not even play. Their defense is great, but like you said, the firepower, the Bengals are insane. Last year, they made it to the Super Bowl. It's when Joe Burrow plays his best, and they arguably just got better.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't really lose anyone. Their O-line got better, even though it hasn't played as great as people hoped it would. they've still got better. And
Yeah.
I think this is a pretty easy decision for myself that the Bengals are going to crush.
I would like to just say Tyler Huntley was a full participant at practice today, so he is likely to start.
Okay.
I saw you had a shoulder issue, though.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
All right.
Could be
I will-
good-
I
could be
will
different
also-
this time.
I'll keep it short. No, I don't want to keep it different on this one, guys. Again, when we're talking about streaks, we talked about the Jacksonville Jaguars. The Bengals started off with a losing record early in the season, and they've just brought it to, what, is it 11-win, 12-win season? Something like that. I don't remember. But the Bengals have just looked really good lately. Everything's looked really in sync. Like I talked about last game, chemistry has looked amazing. The wide receivers have been spreading all around. It's not just DeMar Chase this year. We got T. Higgins and Tyler Boyd, who were still on the team last year, but they are getting a lot more reps. And Joe Mixon just looked as good as ever. The offense is superior in this game, and they're just going to kill the Ravens offensively, I think, personally. And I will do the same thing Sam did right here last year. It's going to be by 14-plus points.
Oh,
Yeah. Should mark it.
didn't I call that in the Bills Patriots game last year?
Yeah, you called
14 plus.
Right here. That's where you did it, I feel like.
That was a big
It's a good
prediction.
pick. It's a good pick.
We all agree.
Bills Dolphins. I'm gonna keep this short and sweet here. I think I heard on the radio that they were like 2-7 without Tua this year. I mean, the Dolphins, Skylar Thompson, he's just
K-State
not
legend.
him. K-State legend, but unfortunately not an NFL starting quarterback. Josh Allen, Wyoming legend. I believe he threw 4 picks against Nebraska. Shout out that game. Lives in my memories. But we are going to be taking the Buffalo Bills right here. We're going to shout out the nice little pray for DeMar right here. Buffalo Bills.
Love that.
Moving on.
Big stage.
All right, I'll slide in. There's nothing to say. This is going to be an absolute blowout. Dolphins have played horrible the past few weeks. Obviously, they've been without Tua, but I think that the Bills just beat them anyway, even if they had Tua. I think Tua's very overrated personally, but he's injured. We're not going to get into that. I think Buffalo crushes them.
I'd like 8 Bills. Where'd they all?
We'll find them. Don't worry.
You want me to mark yours, Sam?
Yeah, mark for him.
Oh, yeah. Sorry. I was just a little concerned with where all our Bills
There
logos
is not
are
a lot of
going.
Bills logos.
I
There's one
made
more,
like 8.
one more right here.
Oh, I know I made.
Jeez, there it was. Yeah,
Did I just not bring them?
I don't think they're over there.
that could have been the case.
All right, let's.
Um,
We'll figure it out.
I have to go with the Bills here. They've looked really good lately. They're playing for their teammate. It's been an emotional month for them, and they've got a lot to fight for, and that's why I think that they're gonna play their heart out in this game. I gotta go with the Bills here.
Short and sweet.
Bills Mafia. I'll say it. Even as a Chiefs fan, I'll say it. Bills Mafia. Greatest fan base.
AFC first round.
Go grab some paper.
Sure.
Pick some Bills. So, NFC right here. NFC, best FC. That just doesn't sound good. I don't know why I said it. I'm a Vikings fan. I've always been a little bit more of an NFC guy than the AFC. I don't know why. I just vibe with them. First game here, Buccaneers versus the Cowboys. I think this is very fascinating, very polarizing opinions on these teams. I could really see both of these teams like getting blown out by 20 or making a Super Bowl run. I think both these teams are very volatile here. The Buccaneers, they're near turning it around, and the Cowboys are not them boys. Here's the thing. They have talent, but I just don't believe in the Cowboys. For some reason, Mike McCarthy, Dak Prescott, they just kind of crumble in the postseason all much. They looked absolutely dreadful in the Commanders game. I was saying that the Chargers didn't look great against the Broncos when they weren't all that motivated, but the Cowboys looked dreadful against the Commanders. They looked like they were in the running for a number 1 pick.
Not the number 1 seed.
Yeah, not the number 1 seed. Let me tell you that. And for that reason, I am going back to the Tom Brady well. I'm picking the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I think they've got a great defense. I think Tom Brady can still spread it out to the weapons just enough. Their running game is not bad. Their offensive line is slowly getting more healthy right now. I think they had someone come back. I'm not really sure who it was, but I saw that they had an offensive lineman coming back. So I'm taking the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Arg.
Made very solid points, I think. A lot can be said there. Of course, Cowboys fans, most annoying fans, sadly. It's just how it is.
Indeed.
We Dem Boys, America's team. Kind of piggybacking off what Sam said, I don't think the Cowboys are extremely talented, and I feel like me and Sam have been thinking a lot very similarly, and I think this game is going to be very good. I don't think Dak is honestly that good. He's game manager.
Mm-hmm.
I think Tom Brady steps up best in the postseason. We've seen time and time and time again. So even though I don't want to keep on agreeing with Sam, I'm going to have to say Tampa Bay Bucks.
Gosh, wow.
Oh, yeah. Take a nice little ship.
Oh, the ship. That's a great.
Oh no. Oh, agreed.
Was this your surprise pick?
So I want to be controversial again. Well, I'll just start talking about the game and then I'll get into who I think will win, because it always changes like right in the moment. First of all, we got the Bucks. They've looked awful lately. We all know that. So did the Cowboys. It's just the comparison of two awful, lately awful teams. Who's gonna win it? Who's more clutch? We all know Tom Brady has been that clutch player. Dak, he's been having a very rough year. I don't know if he'll have the capability to win this playoff game.
I think you led the league in picks.
He might have. I have him on my fantasy team, and it was not fun. Cowboys, they have a great defense. It's something that could very well stop Brady and his boys, but the connection between Brady and Mike Evans has been there the past week, and it's almost hard to pass up, even with just the pass rush of Michael Parsons and DeMarcus Lawrence. You got Trayvon Diggs there. He always comes up clutch with those picks. And let's not even hand the Bucs defense. They got names too. You got Devin White and Levante David in the linebacking core. Very good secondary as well. This is another tough game for me. I mean, the top 2 games for the wild card are definitely the hardest for me. Man. I can either go with this Cowboys logo, or I can go with this Bucks Pirate logo. I don't really like all the red on the board. So,
I thought you were a Chiefs fan.
thank you. I'm going to go with the Dallas Cowboys. I think, does Vegas have Bucks? No, they don't.
No,
They got the
probably not.
Cowboys.
They probably
2.5.
Cowboys here. I think the running game has looked very solid lately. I forgot to mention that Tony Pollard stepped up this year.
Made the Pro Bowl.
I'm very happy for him. The Cowboys, I just think there's a chance. There's a chance. Even with Golden Brady, you never know. Teams have upset him before. He's gone down 28-3 to the Falcons.
I think that's a terrible example because he came back in that game.
Yes. That's true. Very terrible. You know what? The moment that I've been waiting for right here. Minnesota Vikings, New York Giants. Us Vikings fans, it's been something. These last 10 years as a Vikings fan, they've been crazy. 2 playoff victories since the Brett Favre era. I believe that ended in 2012. It's a new era. It's the Kirk Cousins era. Minnesota Miracle, forget about it. It's the Kevin O'Connell, Kirk Cousins era. Kirk Cousins leads the league in game-winning drives. I would hammer the Vikings in this game, but it's not at noon, which concerns me. Everyone knows that Kirk Cousins goes to Pizza Ranch after the games. From his award-winning advertisements with Pizza Ranch, we know he loves them. I've seen videos of him on TikTok in his little van driving down the interstate, headed to the ranch after the games. He needs that cactus bread. Unfortunately, the noon games and the 2-hour press conferences after the 3 o'clock game, it's going to be too late to go to his beloved ranch. But guess what? He wants that ranch so badly. He needs to win this game so that he can get a noon playoff game next week. Kirk Cousins, I'm predicting a insane game from Kirk. Just you watch out. I'm predicting 300 yards, 3 touchdowns. Absolutely
How many
incredible.
receptions?
0. Proving
How many fumbles?
0.
No turnovers.
How
No
many?
turnovers.
How many fumbled snaps?
0.
How many?
Let him finish. Let him finish.
Hold up.
Let him
cook.
cook. Let him cook.
As they say,
I like that.
skull.
That was pitiful.
All right, I'll step in.
Oh, can you
Okay.
run my red on my Cowboys?
Actually,
Can you also grab me?
for the nice helmets, let's not draw on those just because I'm trying to complete
I think.
bit of those.
I understand. Okay, so Sam,
A set.
Sam's a biased Vikings fan. Like I said, I do like the New York Giants, but throwing bias aside, I think this is going to be the upset of the playoffs. I'm just going to say that right now.
Ooh.
Vikings aren't a good team. They have a negative point differential. You know what they remind me of? A
Oh.
little bit? Nebraska. But sadly, Nebraska couldn't convert in their 1 point.
Oh, that 2 seasons ago.
And 2 seasons ago, they couldn't convert in their 1-score games.
Yeah.
Vikings, I will give it to the coaching. They have been able to do that, but they still have a negative point differential. We see them play actual teams that get blown out, like the Cowboys, who I have losing to the Bucks. So I think if you just look at this, you got a 13-3 team, about like a 9-6-1 team, or 9-7-1. But I think Daniel Jones, he's been playing really well this year. I think that they're going to keep the ball on the ground and run through that Vikings defense. And I think that Kirk Cousins, like you said, game's not at 12. He's going to stink it up. At least 2 interceptions. Adoree Jackson, Fabian Moreau, probably one. Not Moreau. Or some dude. I think his name Fabian.
Yeah.
I don't know. Anyway, I think they're going to try and run the ball. It's going to be impossible with big, sexy Dex up the middle. Dexter Lawrence Max. Come on. Kayvon Thibodeau's going to step up, make a big play. But anyway, I have the New York Giants, if I can find them right here. Nice little Giants logo that you made yourself to your team. Falling.
I would have loved not to have to make that logo, but unfortunately,
You knew this would happen.
it had to happen. Max,
No, he said don't do that.
Why?
I've been trying to
Save
get all the helmets. I've got like 10 of the nice helmets with the.
Oh, my bad.
Max.
Oh, you already did it. I misheard. I was over there. My bad. I wasn't present. I want to back myself up. This game, again, very good game. Vikings, Giants, both teams. You know they've been on the edge of playoffs for a while. They both have made it finally. The Minnesota Miracle was the last time that the Vikings didn't make it, and I think that miracle will continue. I will pass the torch to Sam. I'm not gonna put red on it. Passing the
He
torch.
won't taint the Vikings. Sam, I think you're Max. I think you're wrong. That's all I'm gonna say.
Interesting.
That's
the
mine, by the
tricky
way.
pick. You can put the red on that one.
Alright. Right in the corner.
Desecrated the nice.
It's got purple on it at least.
True. Well, 49ers Seahawks. Big Cock Brock versus Dino Gino. This matchup, I'm predicting this is going to be closer than people think right here. In division game, Brock Purdy under the lights. Maybe not under the lights. I don't know what time the game is. Brock Purdy in a playoff game. if you've watched the games, he's kind of just been protected by Kyle Shanahan. I looked at the stats. I think the most he's thrown for in a game is like 215 yards. He's done what he's needed to. He's gone like between 180 and like 215 yards in like every single game. It's been impressive. He's done what they need to with all their weapons, with their number one ranked defense by both yards per game and I think points per game, if I got that correctly.
Wouldn't surprise me.
They're good. The Seahawks are also a little slept on. There's a reason they got 2 S's, because they're slept on. The Seahawks have been slept on. Unfortunately, the 49ers are just better. Seahawks are covering, but the 49ers, I'm not taking the upset right now.
Go with the upset. Both
I'm
of you-
going with, this was an upset, Max.
Guys.
Thank you.
I have 2 upsets technically now.
I'm going with the
Oh,
80s logo right here that they used for one season. The 49ers, moving on.
All right, one thing I'd like to ask quickly the host of the podcast. So, as we know, for playoffs, it's different. So, for me, if the Seahawks win, they play the Eagles. So,
That is
They
correct.
would.
I'm gonna ask. So, are we just gonna do it? We're gonna keep it down here and then put our
Yeah, we're
right
just
here?
going to keep it down there.
Okay.
And you can put
Sorry,
your
we just
2
wanted to
winners
clarify.
up there.
So basically, Sam, good points. Like always, Sam, smart man, except when he
Smart
gets
man,
blinded by the Vikings. Brock Purdy doesn't have to do anything because it is the nicest QB-friendly system in
It
the
really
world.
is.
He is Christian McCaffrey, Debo Samuel. Actually, they don't have Debo, do they?
They-
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, he's back. Sorry, he's been back for a bit actually.
He
Yes,
came
back
back
for
from
a
one
bit.
game.
Anyway, he, like I said, QB friendly system, and that's all you need when you have like an okay QB. That's all you need when you have the best
True.
defense and the best weapons in the league. I think it's not going to be really a close game. Sadly, they are going to write back on Gino this time. I'm sorry. I really loved his performance all throughout, but I gotta go 49ers.
Ooh. You know with the SF logo?
I am. I think it looks very nice,
It does look nice.
Clean.
clean.
Extremely clean, I think.
All right,
Alright.
Max.
I'll
You've
be.
been talking about this game a little bit.
Have I?
Yeah.
I don't know. I think this could be a close game, but I'm gonna say that it's not gonna be just because I think the rookie quarterback has been looking good. Brock Purdy, you know, like you said, very QB friendly system. It's just hard to pick against that 49ers defense. I'm not picking it because of offense. I'm picking it because of defense. Stacked defense. Geno Smith, he faced it earlier this season twice, but the third time, the 49ers know him well. The Seahawks know the 49ers well, but the 49ers are a better coached team, even with Pete Carroll, who was riding his little scooter earlier, but it was kind of messing around. I think the 49ers are taking it a lot more serious than the Seahawks have been, so I will pick the
Golden Gate Bridge.
Golden Gate Bridge. Yeah. 49ers. SF49.
I have one question for you guys. Do you guys think the Seahawks are going to retain Gino?
Yes.
Yes. They wouldn't want to trade him away. He's a perfect
Well,
backup.
they have to re-sign him.
Well, yeah, they'll resign him, but it'll be a perfect backup, I think.
Perfect
Backup.
backup.
I meant to start him.
Max.
You think they're gonna? What do you think they're gonna do with
He's
him? What do you
top 10 in yards and touchdowns.
Do you think
this
they're gonna
year.
draft someone? I think that's.
This guy.
I think if they do
He
draft someone,
just wrote him off again. Comeback player of the year next year.
you gave him comeback player of the year, and you're gonna bench him now?
Hey, I didn't say that I back up what the Seahawks are going to do in the GM room. I think they're going to pick out a new quarterback.
What? You
One-
want
one-
him to be the backup for Will Levis out there, Max?
Okay, one thing I would say
They're not
that
going to get one of the top 2 quarterbacks.
they're not gonna get I
I
don't
was-
even think they'll get a top 3. What I would say though, if they did somehow get a QB, they would take Anthony Richardson, and he'd be
True.
the backup to Geno Smith.
That's what I was going to say. I was going to
You'll have
clarify.
to sit for
I'm going to clarify. If they do pick a rookie quarterback that is not Bryce Young or CJ Stroud, obviously they would bench him and put him behind a veteran. We did the same thing in the Chiefs franchise. We put Patrick Mahomes behind Alex Smith for a year. That's what we'll do.
Chargers almost
Yeah.
did that with Tyrod Taylor, but luckily Tyrod's curse let him go fall for
Luckily-
injury, and he went off.
There's a reason they didn't fire that team doctor. Because
Yeah.
he was a blessing to the franchise.
Move on.
Yes. we are back to the AFC here. Chiefs, Chargers. That classic AFC West matchup right here. These two hooligans right here, duking it out.
You're probably half cut off the screen.
And you're probably
Oh.
stupid.
Yeah.
Just like
So-
this franchise.
Anyway, unfortunately, I have to pick between these two. Max is looking at me funny, so I'm tempted to pick the Chargers.
We all know you're gonna choose. Just
I'm picking the Chiefs. I just think they're a better team. We'll do this. This is a nice helmet, so I'm not going to be putting my stamp on this, but Chiefs.
it's sad. I'm gonna step in. I understand where he's coming from, but there's a couple teams that play the Chiefs really well. The Bengals,
True.
the Bills, and the Chargers. Chargers, I don't think have lost lost by more than a score in any game. They also beaten Mahomes at Arrowhead before, so it's not impossible. And this may be stupid, and they might even lose in the first round to the Chargers. But I think I have to stick with my team for at least one more time. I think we match up well. We could get Rashawn Slater back. He's been practicing. So if we get him back, that's a huge addition to our O-line.
That's huge.
And I think, like I said before, we match up incredibly well. Our big weakness, running the ball. They don't run the ball incredibly well. Jared McKinnon's been good, but
But he's
mainly
more of
as
a
a
receiver.
receiving back.
Hey,
Derwin James can clamp up
watch what
Travis
you say.
Kelsey.
Watch what you say.
I think the Chargers win.
Whoa.
No. Oh.
Guys, the-
oh.
Guys, the problem is they're not even gonna make it there. Jacksonville with the upset.
You sound like you believe that so much, Max.
Mm.
Jacksonville with the upset.
Yeah, Chargers. What happened? You want to keep this one without?
Yes.
You said that. Are you
The
listening?
next
I
one
did
was-
just say it.
I wasn't here for it. Okay.
I just said it a minute ago.
Okay,
too.
let's move on. Let's this
Okay.
dumb Chiefs fan
This
pick.
hooligan.
Pick the Chargers. You would pick the Chargers to win this game.
Hey, if the Chargers do make it to this game, I'm just saying this. It will either be a one-score game or it will go into OT. But we know how well the Chiefs are in OT. Looking at this game,
The rules that they had to change.
They get bailed out
'Cause
by
they
the
got lucky.
coin toss all the time.
Just pick the Chiefs.
Just because
just
we're-
pick the
just
Chiefs.
because we're good with the coin
just
toss.
pick the Chiefs.
It's been rigged.
Which one do I want here? I like it. This logo is really nice. The Jacksonville can't stop the firepower that we have.
One thing I will say: if Jacksonville beats us, which I think they match up better than the Chiefs do, honestly, against us. Because if they beat us, I think that the Chiefs Jacksonville game will be an absolute destruction. I don't think it'll look like an.
The Chargers game is a way better matchup it's a worse matchup for Kansas City than it would be for Jacksonville.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to.
Yeah.
You know, this game
I do like how it looks.
This game is tempting me a lot right here. I came into the day thinking I might take the Bills. As I've been doing some reflection on this game right here, some Ignatian contemplation, I've been visualizing the Bengals right here. I've been seeing Joe Burrow in my dreams. I've been seeing him smoking that joint after the game. I think the Bengals are out for a vengeance here. They're Batman.
What vengeance?
After that game was
After
canceled.
the game was
Oh,
canceled,
okay, that's it. I mean, that's not like vengeance. They feel bad for Demar. Like,
they wanted to win a game, Max.
of course they want to win the game.
They could
Did you
have. They
see
could have gotten the
Joe
number
Mixon
one
with the
seed.
coin toss
They could
here?
have. They could
They
have.
feel slighted. They feel like us against the world right in this game. The Bengals. Shout out Bengal, by the way.
Shout out Bengal.
No.
Great Madden YouTuber.
The Bengals are winning this game versus the Buffalo Bills. I don't have analysis. I've just got a gut feeling on this one.
He's got that dog.
Oddly, I am taking the Bengals.
I'm actually surprised by that pick. I'm actually very surprised by that pick.
Is that your pick?
Gut
I'm
feeling?
not telling you.
All right, guys, we're gonna win. This is the best game in the playoffs. I think, simple as that. Based on my bracket, I think I picked the Chargers for the other AFC header. I think whoever's win this I'm just gonna say it's probably gonna beat the Chargers. I'm gonna put that out there. Chargers are a flawed team. I don't think either of these teams really have flaws.
Mm-hmm.
But as Sam was saying, I don't really have an analysis. Bengals got that dog in them, and I think they roll past the Bills. And even though the Bills are playing now for a teammate's not only life, but they're just playing for him. Especially, I think they still lose. Maybe not revenge, but I think they come back, tasting the Super Bowl but not getting the full bite. And I think they make it back to the AFC Championship.
Ho ho.
Wait a minute. Where do we not have any left?
There's some big ones in the bottom that you must.
What does it say?
Oh no. Oh no. I mean,
This is the Bills.
You have to.
dang it. None of these are good matchups for the Chiefs. Bengals, Bills, they both match up very well with the Chiefs. But every single year it's a great game, and it's gone back and forth. We've beaten the Bills one year. The Bengals keep beating us. Bills could easily beat us as well.
Joe Burrow's undefeated against Pat Mahomes.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard for me to pick against either team here. I would love for both of them to make it farther than the divisional round. It's just two very good teams that maybe I wish could be over there instead of the Cowboys and Buccaneers, you know. But I'm forced to make a tough decision here. Both teams have a firepower on the offense. This is nuts.
All I'm saying is, Bengals, if they won that game, they would have gotten the number 1 seed.
But I do think one team is better on defense. And even with the pass rush of the Bengals, I think that these Bills. Where'd you put it?
That's it. That's one of them.
Put the
Well-
daddy Allen on the bottom.
Well, that's me. I put that on.
I think, nope.
The assist.
I think Daddy Allen will win this game. And the Bills will move on to the AFC Championship playing against the Chiefs. It'll be another great matchup.
Man, we have three different matchups for our AFC championships.
This is gonna be a fun prediction. But here we are. We're gonna move over here to the NFC.
Here we got the Eagles, as they say,
What?
against the Buccaneers.
The Eagles?
Yeah,
Eagles.
the Eagles. Some Eagles fans call them the Eagles. I don't know why. They also call them the Birds. Go Birds, as they say. I can't stand when they say go Birds. There's so many bird NFL teams. Pick a lane. But regardless, I might rank Philly fans in one of my bottom 5 fan bases in the NFL.
They're pretty annoying.
I don't like
They
them.
are annoying.
They're with the Cowboys, Packers, Patriots, Eagles, I'd say are my
hate
bottom
Packers.
4.
Vikings,
Hawker-
Chargers, like those two teams have to be up
Okay,
there.
first of all, there are 0 Chargers fans. And
There's 0 that live in LA. We'll just say that.
Yeah.
Like, there are some Chargers fans, but I don't know what they were thinking moving to LA.
as being a Chargers fan myself, I know of only 2 others.
Like
Interesting.
fans.
Yeah.
Yeah. But we live in Nebraska.
Yeah.
Max, don't dox yourself, Max.
We talked about Nebraska already. What are you talking about?
Max, we could just be a fan of the
Guys,
college.
we live in West Point, Nebraska. Come find us.
We live in Grand Island.
No, we live in North Platte.
We live in Creighton, Nebraska.
So
Okay.
funny, Max.
We're government.
Anywho,
government.
Eagles versus Buccaneers. Tom Brady versus Jalen Hurts. I bet they're going to roll out a stat that, oh, when Tom Brady made his NFL career, that was the same day that Jalen Hurts started kindergarten. Tom Brady's so old. And guess what? Tom Brady is old. I don't think this is his last year, though. But I think this is his last game of the season. The Eagles hosting at Lincoln Financial Field. Their fans
Poor Tom.
gonna be electric. The Eagles, I think, just top to bottom on the roster, they're great. The Buccaneers have some weaknesses that you can see. For that reason, I'm taking the Eagles. Fly, Eagles, fly.
Fly.
I'm gonna get this nice Liberty Bell logo right there.
Oh,
I designed that one myself, actually. So
it's an alternate logo there. I like it.
I designed a few of these myself.
Yeah.
That one, not that one.
All right. So I actually have a different matchup because
Oh yeah.
Giants are gonna win, but got Giants Eagles.
You can switch them around.
Do Giants Eagles right now.
Giants. I'm gonna do Giants Eagles right now.
You can switch them if you want. It's fine.
It's fine. They can see
We know.
Eagles
Okay.
Giants.
All of
so
our educated
we've seen this matchup. I think the Eagles. I think the Giants match up really well against the Vikes, but I don't think they match up well against the Eagles. And I think this is when the Eagles show their true dominance and why they were the best team, or what seemed like the best team in the NFL all year long. So I'm not going to even make this. I'm not really going to talk about this. I'm going to take these wings because they're going to fly to victory. over the
Oh,
Giants.
Sam. I like that.
I just wanted
that
an
is
alternate
cool.
logos. I saw that. I'm like,
Oh,
they
you
should
didn't make
use
that?
more.
Oh,
No,
I
I
thought
made
you
the
did.
Liberty though.
Guys, Tommy, he just said something, right? The Giants don't match up well with the Eagles. You know what I do think match up with the Eagles well? The best probably in the league? The Cowboys. The Cowboys been neck and neck with them for many ages, Great defense. Jalen Hurts is coming back from his injury. He won't have any time to play a team before the Cowboys. The Cowboys have that defense that is ready to adjust to Jalen Hurts when he comes back. The Cowboys, they are the underdogs totally here in this matchup. They're going to catch them by surprise. The Eagles are, they're just thinking that they're going to fly past the Cowboys. I don't think so. The Cowboys are moving on in this game, and they will be in the NFC Championship.
Cowboys fan Max.
This is something that I will not stand by, but you see it now. I predict the Cowboys to move on.
It's so funny.
What's so funny there, man?
Cowboys are a good team. It's just
They are a good
no
team.
one else besides you hasn't moved past the first round.
It's a good matchup. Sorry, I keep forgetting I'm bad at it. It's okay. I only remember the Mark Sams. And
That's
then
not one of the nice.
I wrote it. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Max also forgot the 49ers over here.
You are horrible at this.
Was this your idea too?
No,
Yes.
it was not my idea to put the
You
colors.
got the markers at least.
I got the markers. Yeah.
My idea was doing the letter. So, my judgment may be clouded once again. The Vikings versus the 49ers. The more I've been thinking about this, the more I feel that we low-key match up well against the 49ers.
I think they might have a chance if they begin this game.
We have a weakness on offense. It's our interior offensive line. But the 49ers are known for their outside pass rush. We have a real good strength on offense. It's playing against zone coverage. Apparently, from what I've seen, Niners play a decent amount of zone coverage. Well, they will probably adjust to the Vikings and play some more man. But the Vikings have got this in the bag. And guess what? On defense, our one weakness mainly has been being picked apart by some of these big name quarterbacks, even when they haven't been like huge names. We've been picked apart by some quarterbacks that we just shouldn't have been. I think that we can adjust to Brock Purdy though. I think that we can deal with his brand of football. We've got some big physical guys who can tackle at the line of scrimmage. I think we match up well. We're probably in this game going to be like 6.5 point underdogs in Vegas. I think this is the game the Vikings can win. I'm not so sure if we can move on beyond this, but I think that we can roll into Santa Clara, California, Levi's Stadium, beat the San Francisco 49ers, even though there's no Pizza Ranch in town. Kirk's going to get on that jet on the way back home. Go. Close enough. And then the Vikings.
There's a chance.
Move on.
I will say it. There's a chance.
Can't deal with these fans.
There's a chance.
All right.
Bottom five fan base.
So I got a different matchup. Bucks, 49ers. A defensive battle, I think. But even though it's been really slow, and even though I think the 49ers have better weapons, I think that the Bucks have the better offense overall. And it really just depends on how well they can play together and mesh. Because we know that Tampa Bay defense can play well. It's very similar to the defense they had when they won the Super Bowl.
It is.
Their offensive line, obviously not as good, and they have 49ers have a great pass rush. But I think Tom Brady, he gets the ball off really fast.
Mm-hmm.
The fastest in the league, I'm pretty sure.
I think
So I don't think
I
that
wouldn't be
pass rush.
surprised.
I don't think that pass rush is really going to affect him as much. And I think that the Buccaneers will win this game. Very
Yes,
Very
I love it.
close game, but I think they win.
Wow.
Hoorah! Tom Brady beats his childhood team in what could be one of his last games.
You know what? I want you to stay there. Let's argue a little bit. You think that Tom Brady has that firepower against that San Francisco defense, especially with that pass rush, and Fred Warner in
He
the
gets the
linebacker
ball
core?
out. He gets the ball out fast.
He does.
And the 49ers defense is great, but their like one quote unquote weakness is their secondary. Their front seven's better than their secondary.
Hey,
Secondary's still good. Travarius Ward was very good,
Yes.
but is he a true CB1 against Mike Evans? Who's their
No.
CB2 against Chris Godwin?
That's true.
Chris
But-
Godwin is obvious is arguably a top 15 receiver in the NFL. They have two.
Mm-hmm.
Ward is scrappy though. Ward is very
Okay,
scrappy.
but can he guard both of them?
Scrappy doesn't mean good.
I'm just saying.
Tom Brady, if they play a lot of zone coverage like Sam says, he can pick that apart. Tom Brady
That's true.
is that QB.
But you know what's something that Buccaneers struggle against? The check down pass. Brock Purdy will be fighting Christian McCaffrey a lot in this game. And let's bring it up. Elijah Mitchell is back into the lineup now, and he looked very good in that last game. I think,
We have
I
to
don't
take
know
into
the
fact Devin White, one of the fastest linebackers. He can,
You're true.
if they
True.
check down the ball,
That's true.
he can catch that. Levante David, maybe not as athletic, but he is one of the smartest linebackers, and that combination is insane. They can stuff the run. They can't run against Vita Vea, really.
But that brings up the problem. If Devin White's not guarding Christian McCaffrey, who's guarding George Kittle?
Levante David.
Yeah, Levante David is one of the best against tight ends, but he's getting old. He's getting slower. George Kittle is faster.
George Kittle isn't like a speed demon out there.
He's
You're
not.
right.
George
You're right.
Kittle is a physical tight end.
Yes.
He's not going to beat him with his speed. Maybe route running, but that's where Levante David can stay
You're
strong.
probably more around that, but let's talk about it. Brandon Ayuk, Debo Samuel have a lot more speed than that secondary of the Bucks.
I think you're underrating the secondary. Secondary has been
They're-
kind of banged up and hurt throughout the year. Jamal Dean, Sean Murphy Bunting. I'm pretty sure they have one other guy who's pretty decent. And I can't remember. They got Antoine Winfield Jr. and as a free safety. He was crucial in their playoff run. I think he's going to step it up in the playoffs. I think their whole team, Tom Brady's going to get them and rally behind them. And I think they're going to win this game.
Even with Vita Vea, I think that the 49ers are going to give enough pass protection to be good enough to keep 3-4 seconds of no pressure most of the time around Brock Purdy. You know that QB friendly system we were talking about earlier. Even if they lock up every player, there's still a chance that Christian McCaffrey will be open. Or maybe
Okay,
George
but
Kittle.
we have a rookie QB. He might not take. He's been very good about taking the check down, but when it gets in these late game scenarios, it's a close game. He might get nervous. It's his second playoff
right.
game. Technically,
You're
he
right.
can make mistakes. You know who won't make those mistakes?
Tom Brady.
Tom Brady.
You're right. And this could be a very.
Max, I'm hearing a lot of. You know what? You're right.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna finish this out
You know
with
what?
my pick.
Screw this. I'm picking the 49ers in this game.
Clearly.
Come on. I've done enough defending. I enjoy the arguments. I really love it. Is this your own design? Because dang it. Anyway, that's a great logo. Yeah. I would really enjoy this game if it does come up. I would enjoy this game a lot.
Vikings, 49ers.
No, here's the thing. No.
You
I'm
didn't
I
choose
know-
the Bucks.
No, I'm choosing the. I'm just.
This guy, man.
One second.
He's the
I'm-
Cowboys. are
I'm
being
still
the
on the Tampa Bay Bucks here for a second. I just still have the 49ers going past. Sorry, Sam, that's a little disrespectful to your Vikings. But
All right.
if this game does come up, it would be a fun game. All right, now to just do a minute assessment of this game. The Vikings and the 49ers, this is going to be a very high-powered offense game, even with the 49ers defense. I've been talking about how good the defense would match up against Tampa Bay. Personally, that's what I think. Maybe I could be completely wrong. Everyone has wrong takes every once in a while.
They got a great front seven, but you know what? That's front seven's great against rush, which Tom Brady deals well with, and running the ball, which the Buccaneers don't really run the ball.
They just don't.
They don't. They pass the ball, and you know what?
Hey,
When we see this game, it'll show you why.
my green screen's going right over you right now. That's what I'm going to do.
You're mean. Also, can I say one
This
thing?
guy, Matt.
But the Vikings 49ers, no offense, Sam. 49ers
It's
play the Vikings, it's going to be destruction. Like, absolute horrific.
They're
They're going to run the ball, they're going to pass the ball. Brock Purdy is, even though he's not the most experienced guy, They're going to find the way to find their weapons, and they're going to really slice up the Vikings' awful defense. And the 49ers, even if they run zone coverage, I still think they crush their O-line with interior and outside rush. And Fred Warner is right in the middle, lurking. You got Dre Greenlaw also lurking, the best linebacker duo in the entire league. Arguably, both could have been all pros this year. Dre Greenlaw obviously wasn't. Matt Lano was. But I'm sorry. I think the 49ers are very good, but I think the Bucs match up a little bit better. And that's why I think they win that game.
Did the Vikings win against the 49ers?
Yes.
Okay. I like that. And, guys, I just wanted to bring this up. Can we appreciate that in every single round here, we have a different team? Well, at least one. We have 2 different teams in every single one. I think
We all have different matchups.
we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Wait, did I count that right? Yeah, 9 different teams that can make the championship game here that we have predicted. And you know what? This is going to bring up a lot of debate here in this final 3 games. So,
I'll let Sam take over for the AFC.
oh yeah, I was moving to the wrong side.
Bengals, Chiefs. Sound familiar? Deja vu all over again. Joe Burrow
No,
is
we don't.
Patty Mahomes.
Okay, I'll be honest. We don't have
Daddy.
any more Bengals. That's why.
I've
Oh,
got
wait,
this
quick effort.
Max, no.
Max, wait.
Max, I've got this figured out.
What about Tommy though? Tommy might pick the Bengals.
I've got this figured out though, man.
Oh, okay.
Relax. You can
Oh yeah.
All right. Resume.
Where's the tape?
So, I've got it figured out, Max. So, what we got right here is a top tier matchup between the Bengals and the Chiefs. This is going to be an insane game. One of these 2 teams is winning. Between 2 electric young quarterbacks. 2 great teams. And I've got to choose one of them. And I just know this is another gut feeling. I'm just feeling it. They got that dog in them. Joe Burrow, Joe Burr, Joe Cool, Joe Shiesty, whatever you want to call him. They're winning this game. Patrick Mahomes has not beaten Joe Burrow, and he won't get the monkey off his back right now. I think that Joe Burrow is good, but Patrick Mahomes is going to be remembered as this generation's Tom Brady, and Joe Burrow is going to be remembered as this generation's Eli Manning. He's going to deny multiple Super Bowl rings from Patrick Mahomes. I'm taking the Bengals to make the Super Bowl.
Youngest starting quarterback in the AFC side.
First of all, before I move on to my pick, I'd like to touch on that game. I think that game is going to be insane. Firepower.
Oh, yeah.
Sam, I agree with you, though. The Bengals just beat the Chiefs. They know their rhythm. They know how they play.
Hey, whoa.
And they know how to win. We are not going to talk about this matchup anymore, so I just wanted to take a few more minutes to touch on it. Chiefs are very good. Arguably, they can win. I will say that. But I think no team in the AFC is better than the Bengals, and that's why I'm also choosing my Super Bowl returner as the Bengals.
What? Blasphemy. Put in the Chargers.
No. I'm a Chargers fan, a Chargers stan. But you know what? Our team has more flaws. Mike Williams will not be back for this game. We need that type of firepower if we want to be a perfect, in my opinion, team like the Bengals. Top 5 QB, top 5 receiving core, top 5 defense. Not O-line, obviously their weakness. Tight ends, not great, but you don't need an incredible tight end when you have a receiving core of Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, both arguably top 15, top 20 receivers, and Tyler Boyd, even though he's getting older, he's still
Might
up
be
there.
the best wide receiver 3.
That is
I'm
it's
going to
true.
take it. He might be. He is the best wide receiver 3. And you know what? Joe Mixon, top 5 running back, arguably. Their offense is insane in their defense. Their run stuffing. You got DJ Reader, one of the best run stuffers. BJ Hill, one of the best D-tackle 2s in the league. Their pass rush, Trey Hendrickson, really come out as a top 10 star. Sam Hubbard, not great, but he's not awful. They did lose Joey Awuzie, which is a huge loss for them. Their secondary, not great. But you know who stepped up? The trash talker, Eli Apple.
Eli Apple.
Trey
Keep hating on
Flowers.
him too much.
I don't know if Trey Flowers is on that team. He used to be.
I take that back.
Okay. But Cam Taylor-Britt from Nebraska,
Cam
he has stepped up
Taylor-Britt.
as a round 2 pick. You can put Dax Hill in the slot. They're a rookie. He's incredible.
Dax Hill is really good.
Jesse Bates is just been
We didn't even
incredible.
mention Jesse
Von-
Bates. Like the first 10
Von
defensive players.
Bell,
Maybe we should.
one of the best safety duos in the league.
Should we stick on the Bengals thing onto his chest because he is really going off. On
This team is crazy, and I think they beat the Chiefs by honestly a touchdown, maybe more. But it's hard to bet against Patrick Mahomes. It really is.
disrespect.
He will be the MVP this year. He will be the MVP for years coming. He is the best player in the league, and it's hard to bet against him. But I think the Bengals are just so good that you have to.
Never mind. All right. Very good matchup from last year.
Yes.
We got the Bills versus the Chiefs. You know, they've done a lot of talking. You know what? I'm not going to hate on this pick. The Bengals look very good against the Chiefs. They have always. And Joe Burrow has never lost to Patrick Mahomes. And I will be the one to say that if the Chiefs get matched up with the Bengals, I will be scared for my life. But you know what? We're playing the Bills here. We're playing Josh Allen. We know exactly what he's going to do in this playoff game. He is going to be running the QB draw constantly. This is what they did to us last year in the same game. They would often do a short little run, and then they would do a nice draw to the outside for Josh Allen. However, we are even better now. We got Nick Bolton in the linebacking core. He's even improved from last year, which is crazy. I think that the Chiefs have the Bills in this game, and this year it will not
Very
go
good
into
team.
overtime. It will, even if this is a Bengals Chiefs game, a Bills Chiefs game is still just as good. Again, I will be picking my Chiefs. Yes, I'm a little biased, but how can I pick against my team?
I'll be honest with you, you can't hate that pick. I think. I mean, you can look at my picks. I did pick the Chargers over the Chiefs, but if I was being truly realistic to myself, and if I really want to look at myself, I think I would have to pick the Chiefs over the Chargers. But I'm a Chargers fan. I gotta put my faith in
I
them.
wasn't talking about Chargers.
I know, but I'm saying like my picks.
Oh.
I think the Chiefs will probably make the AFC Championship. They do have maybe not the easiest path, but they do have an easier path than the Bengals or Bills because they have to face each other.
What do you think about this game, though?
I think the Chiefs do win.
Do you think they will win
beat the Bills.
hypothetically?
I'm going back to the Chiefs Bengals game. I think the Chiefs have a great.
What do you think,
chance to
Sam?
win that.
Same thing? Do you think Chiefs would beat the Bills or not?
Well, keep in mind that this game would be in Atlanta.
that's
It's
true.
not a Chiefs home game.
It is. And that's, to be fair, I don't want to.
Bills Mafia would
That
travel.
Bills
a
Mafia
great
would
decision
go.
by the Chiefs to make it a neutral site because.
Well, by the Chiefs.
By the Chiefs.
Nah.
What do you mean?
He knows they're rigging the league for
He knows
Patrick
it's rigged.
McFraud.
Patrick McFraud.
Fraud.
All right.
Patrick Mickey Mouse rings.
I'll talk about this. I'll slide over so
Okay.
Sam can step in. Talk about his prediction.
Eagles Vikings. This matchup brings back trauma for me. 2017 season, right after the Minnesota-Minneapolis Miracle, whatever you want to call it.
Oh, it's the
It's been called both things.
I was thinking it was the Saints.
Ow!
We got blown out by the Eagles. This year,
When the Eagles won the Super Bowl.
we got blown out by the Eagles. 2023 schedule just got released. We have to play the Eagles in Philadelphia next year. We don't know the exact dates. The Eagles, like I said, that Joe Burrow is the monkey on Patrick Mahomes' back. The Eagles are the monkey on the Minnesota Vikings' back. Unfortunately, just like Nick from Ike's Lunch, we might say that we're back, but we're not. We've fallen off. We might take a little bit of a hiatus, come back next year stronger than ever, just like Ike's Lunch. The Eagles are a very good top to bottom team, and I think they are moving on to the Super Bowl.
Ooh. Interesting placement.
Yeah.
Now, like like we have for actually many different games. We've had different matchups. This one, Bucks, Eagles. I think that this is where Tom Brady's last run ends. It's very sad to say the GOAT, the greatest ever, loses in this scenario, but I think he does. I think this Eagles team, top to bottom, talent-wise, is the best in the league. And I think that they're going to play arguably the other best team in the league, and the Bengals in the Super Bowl. Now, me and Sam have had differing picks, sadly. I don't know about sadly, but we do agree in the same Super Bowl.
Interesting. Who knows if we'll agree in the champion?
Who knows?
It's not what I was expecting from you two.
This is what you were expecting?
Not what I was expecting.
What were you expecting?
I mean, I was expecting Sam to stick with his original prediction, but he
Bills.
switched it up.
Bills 49ers.
Yeah, Bills 49ers.
Which is looking great right now, but I just like having two different predictions, to be honest. That
Yeah,
I
so
say are
He's
both
got two
right.
chances.
Also,
in
you got Brock Purdy. Wait, I just realized you 49ers versus Cowboys.
That's a
Yeah.
great game.
It's a way different matchup.
It's a
than we
way
have.
different game.
That's a bit odd.
And this is why. This might be an easier matchup than it would seem for me. Which one do I want to choose? I have a lot of them. Alright, I'm going to pick the San Francisco 49ers to be here in the Super Bowl against the Chiefs. It's going to be a repeat 2019. I'm fairly certain, maybe 2020. 2019, 2020, that's what it was. Anyway, it's gonna be a very good game between the Cowboys and the 49ers here. But let's be honest here. It's just been a lot. The 49ers have looked a lot better recently. The Cowboys are going to be tired out against these two games. The Bucks are going to give them a battle, but an even harder battle for them. They're going to be worn out after this game against the Eagles. You know what? The 49ers had the Seahawks, and their only decently hard game was the Vikings. I think they're going to breeze past in these games and have a lot of strength still left, and they're just going to overpower this tired squad. Micah Parsons isn't going to be the same as he was in the first two games. And 49ers, they got an easier route. Should I put that here? An easier route than it would have seemed as the Eagles were knocked off early. Super Bowl time.
As I said earlier, it's the Super Bowl.
Messi's GOAT.
I don't think we're having an argument about that, but Max likes to have his arguments. Here, got Bengals, Eagles. Quite a crazy matchup, to be honest. This matchup really perplexes me. It perpuzzles me, as they say. It is wrecking my brain to think about this. I think the Eagles, going for them, I like their defense a little better, but I think I like the Bengals' offense a little better. You know what the old saying goes? Defense wins championships.
Ooh.
But here's what I am saying. I think more than defense, I think experience wins championships. I think being able to execute in these big moments matters a whole lot more. Do you know who's just shown to be consistent in these moments?
Joe.
The man himself, Joe. Joe the dog, Joe Burrow. The Eagles just don't quite have the Super Bowl experience. You can say that they won 5 years ago.
A lot of players on that team played in that Super Bowl.
Nick Foles
Not
like
so
Burt
long
Reynolds.
ago.
Their roster has turned over a surprising amount. Like some players are
Let's
still
look at
there.
that D line though. Brandon Graham, Fletcher Cox. What about
Yeah,
Jason
Cox.
Kelsey?
Some of those players are still
No,
there,
There's more.
But-
Dwayne Johnson.
especially on offense. If you look at their main pieces back then,
But
they're
look at
not
last
there
year's.
anymore. The Bengals pieces from last year are all back, and they're gonna be parading in Cincinnati. Eat your heart out, Bengals, Super Bowl champions.
I like it. I would agree with you on this pick. If this hypothetically was a championship.
That guy Max, man.
Now, I've thought about this game a lot. My my prediction at the start of the season wasn't the Bengals. After watching those first few games, I was doubtful. But looking at their team, looking at the Eagles team, I think I agree with Sam. And this was my prediction from the very beginning. I'll be honest, I knew once I came in here who my winner was going to be. I didn't know about some of these games, like Chargers, Chiefs, didn't really know about it. But this game, I know for sure. And I know who I think is going to win the championship. Cincinnati Bengals.
I love it.
Crazy. No one saw this coming here. Bengals, who have, I believe, the 5th best Super Bowl odds. Both of us esteemed experts have taken them. If you remember it last year, the Rams, who were not the Super Bowl favorites going into the playoffs, 2 of us on the show picked the Rams. And guess what? I picked the Rams. It could happen again. If so, put us on Mount Rushmore. Put us on ESPN. Do what you want.
All I'm
We'll
saying
see
though,
what happens.
my preseason prediction last year, Rams. My preseason prediction this year, it's Bills.
Interesting.
Very interesting. We'll see. Like you did, 2 different matchups. I thought it was going to be 49ers Bills as well at the beginning. I didn't initially think of it of a great Eagles team. I thought they're going to be better, but obviously not this good.
My matchup: San Francisco versus the Chiefs.
Sounds familiar.
Yeah,
Yes,
a little nostalgic for.
it is nostalgia.
For Jimmy Garoppolo coming on the field, the chance to win the game.
Hey, and who was on that 49ers team at the time?
A lot of their players right now.
Yeah,
From the Chiefs.
Travarius Ward.
I'm fairly certain Jerick McKinnon was on the 49ers.
Oh, he was at that point. Yeah.
Was he on that? I don't know.
Travarius
You know what?
Ward was on the Chiefs last year.
Yeah,
He was on the
that's true.
49ers.
I don't know if Jerick McKinnon was either the Vikings year or the 49ers year, but he might have been on the San Francisco squad at the time. I cannot remember quite well. But, again, this is nostalgic. We've had a lot of nostalgia games for me for the Chiefs this year. Or in my hypothetical bracket so far. But this is going to be a very good game. As if we remember a few years ago, that game against the 49ers,
Was it beat on the 49ers?
he was.
Mm-hmm.
Great call, Lenny. I was almost to the brink of crying. We're down by 2 possessions with under 10 minutes left in the 4th quarter, and somehow, some way, we did end up winning that game. We were.
Are you sure, man?
Ah.
I think you guys led for
I feel that you
almost the
No.
entire game.
you were
Nope.
down
Nope.
like a touchdown.
No, I
Then
know
you
my
got a-
Chiefs better than they. Maybe we're only down by a touchdown with 10 minutes left in the 4th quarter.
I think
But I'm
that might
fairly
have been
certain we were down by 2 possessions, and I remember.
Tyreek Hill caught
I
that
was
bomb.
so happy. I went outside, screamed. I was so elated. But this is a different year.
Many more delayed.
You can argue that this 49ers team is a lot better. They have newer pieces. They have, indeed, Christian McCaffrey. Their wide receiving core has never looked better, honestly. Were we down by 2 possessions?
Oops, it's not loading.
That's fine. I'll keep talking. And you know what? The person that did beat us in that game very much was George Kittle. George Kittle looked better than Travis Kelce in that game. And, in these, newer years, he hasn't looked as good as he had in the past. But it still just doesn't do enough for me. This is going to be a very good game. But
We know you're back.
guys, it's not the 49ers. It's the Chiefs. Obviously, we all knew I was going to pick there. I think it'll be a very good game.
They were up 10 at the start of the. But
Fourth.
the Chiefs got a touchdown pretty soon to the 4th quarter, so.
I do know
It's easy to
I do
forget.
know my Chiefs very well.
They scored
Yeah, I thought it was like a 3-point game.
I do know my Chiefs very well. Don't doubt me. I might have less
Just like
NFL
two
knowledge than these
touchdowns,
two do, but I do remember my Chiefs. Don't doubt me on that. I knew my stuff in that game.
Very Homer pick-esque, but it's not inconceivable. It's actually highly probable, which I would say.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, me and Sam both
I
pick
would-
Bengals, but I
yeah.
think Chiefs are the number 2. And
Yeah.
I think the Bills are good, but they're flawed. They don't really have great pass rush, not a good line, not good run defense.
And
not
we
good
all
run.
have the AFC team in there, you know.
But the Chiefs, I think the Chiefs and the Bengals are the two teams that
The
would.
Chiefs are the biggest betting favorite for a reason. People who are smart put their money where their mouth is. The Chiefs have a very good shot to win the Super Bowl.
I would like to say the four teams we all collectively have in, I think, are the four favorites.
I'd say the
Eagles,
Bills. I'd say there are only 5 teams that can realistically win the Super Bowl. These 4 we had in the finals, and the Bills.
I like that. I think some dark horses that I really like: Chargers, as I'm a Chargers fan. Vikings, if they can really turn it up.
Whoa, you're kind of changing your pick.
No, I'm not. I don't think they will. I think the Giants will win because it's going to be a scrappy game, not as much offense. But if they can turn it up
If
offensively,
Vikings do you think they could be a dark horse? Is what you're saying?
yes.
Okay.
Bucks also, and the Jags. Honestly,
The Jagsers.
if the Jags get really hot, which a formula to looking at the past few winners: hot QB and a hot defense.
Oh, Trevor Lawrence, man.
He's
Tommy.
been really hot recently. That defense has been better. That's also kind of why I like the Chargers. We've had the best defense, arguably, in the past 5 to 7 weeks, points-wise, and Justin Herbert is a hot QB.
Yeah, if we're talking about dark horses, you know, one of us might have predicted it so far, but even though I had picked the Cowboys, I think they would slow down towards the mid part, like how Tommy was saying if the Vikings won. I do think if the Bucks win this game and they play against the Eagles, you know, they could win that game. And you know, we know Tom Brady. He is a playoff guy. He could win the Super Bowl. You never know. The Bucks. It was 2 years ago. It wasn't that long ago that they won that Super Bowl. They are a dark horse. Do you have a dark horse team?
Considering that Tommy selected 4 dark horses and that Matt took another team, we're at like a third of the playoff bracket has been labeled a dark horse, and a third has been labeled one of the teams who can actually contend.
I named one.
Yeah. Who do we got left?
Okay, we can just eliminate
Yeah.
Dolphins, Ravens,
You know what?
Seahawks,
I'm
Giants.
taking the Ravens as a dark horse here.
Oh,
I don't think they're winning this game, but if they can win this game and Lamar Jackson comes back, there's a small shot.
I can see that. It's just very improbable.
They need Lamar, though, to be able to win games.
In my
I
opinion,
don't think they're beating the Bengals.
I don't
but
think the Chiefs have lost.
in
to
my
Lamar
opinion,
yet.
if I had to choose one dark horse, it would be the Chargers.
I would probably also pick the Chargers, but, you know.
I would pick the Bucks.
Teams that I will for sure, I think 100% not win. It maybe even any games, but if they do win one, they're not going to win anymore. The Giants, the Seahawks, the Dolphins, the Ravens.
This is the only game I'm very comfortable with in the wild card, personally. I think that the Seahawks could pull up an upset, but just not how the 49ers would.
Even though I have the Giants beating the Vikings, I think there's no way they can beat the Eagles.
Mm-hmm.
You guys have any, like, so-and-so locks, maybe, you would take?
You know, I can't even say I'm locked in against the Chiefs because the Chargers matchup would be a possibility of a loss. I would definitely be locked in with the 49ers in 2 games. You know, I've seen you guys you took the Vikings, but that makes sense because you're a Vikings fan.
Mm-hmm.
And you took the Bucks, which
You completely agreed with pretty
I
much.
said that dark horse was a possibility, but I think that the 49ers.
We had a lot of diversity here, a lot of different runs being made. Chargers trying to make a run at the championship for me, but ultimately stopped by the eventual champions. Bucks on the other side trying to make a run. You got Sam with his Vikings making a improbable NFC championship run. Max with the Cowboys and the Bills, 2 teams that no one else picked, winning 2 games. But I think, like you said, like Sam said, there's really 5 teams you can really look at.
Mm-hmm.
And
I would be shocked if it's not one of those 5 teams.
same here. That's why I was saying dark horse.
Which
the other
5s?
ones.
Bills and our 4 teams in the Super Bowl.
Okay.
That's why I was calling the other ones dark horses, because I think if any fan who's watched the NFL this year looked at this, they'd take one of those 5 teams.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I would agree. Well, that pretty much wraps it up here. Stay tuned for more NFL videos. We might get a draft one in, you never know. But we always enjoy making these videos. It's a very interesting bracket we got here. If you, for some reason, made it this far and the video.
Tune into Retro Dynasty.
You can tune into Retro Dynasty. I think we're at around the 2.5 hour mark.
I wouldn't disagree.
It's 9:15.
I just tell us what you disagree with, because I love arguing. But anyway, see you all next time. Sam's usually better at intros, outros. You send it off, Sam.
Peace.
Thanks to Tommy. Bye.